Hey guys, it's Missy Wolf, and I'm here with Alex Seier. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. And I was totally afraid that I was going to screw up your name because all day I've been saying it so wrong.
Most people. Well, I think I was introduced wrong,
I think you were too.
and I was going to ask you for
A redo?
for her name. I want to make sure that she gets talking to. No, I'm just kidding.
Kylie Mack, I'm calling you out right now. That's my fault, though. I apologize. I did not give you the right name. No, you're such a good sport, though. Thank you for that. And you started out super fun. So as soon as I had a fun moment with you out there, I was like, okay, he's pretty fantastic. And then watching you up on stage, it was like, wow, you're pretty good, and you're a great songwriter.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I mean, the whole fun thing. It's about having fun. If you're not, especially in this town, because you're doing all these shows for free, and you're doing all these song rounds, and you're doing all this different stuff, and it's like, if you're not having fun, what are you doing it for?
Right.
I mean, even when you get paid to do stuff, it's that lasts for so long,
Right.
And then eventually you just you're up there, and it's like, what am I doing this for? So if
Right.
you're not having fun, and
Yeah.
then what are you doing?
Absolutely. It's like going to work every day. If you don't
Yeah.
enjoy your job, you develop really quickly that just need to get out of there and you don't want to go. And it's just, and I see that a lot with people who don't enjoy their job. And then they just become these depressed, routine. They just do it because they have to. And they feel like there's no way out. And it's like, no, have fun. Do something that you like.
It's
do
about
something that
finding
you
little
love.
things. You're not
Yeah.
going to love everything all the time. There's
Right.
challenges just like a normal job, and that's always the hard part. Is like,
Right.
this is a job. It's not
It is.
traditional, but it's a job.
It
But
is.
like, so there's times that are tough, and there's times that are sad, and there's times that you make that piss you off, and all those things.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like, when you're up on stage, there's one time that you should be having fun.
Yeah.
And that is on stage, and you get a chance to leave everything behind, and you have this wall of microphones and monitors, and for at least 30 minutes or 60 minutes or 45 minutes, you put everything away, and you sing those songs that you spent so much time writing.
Absolutely. It's fun. And, I often think, too, that performers, you guys have an amazing job as far as you get to seduce your audience, make them crave more, make them want more, make them, desire that next song. And that seems to me like really hard work. Just getting the fans, creating that desire for them, and, selling yourself to them. Like, I know I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
I know for me, that is not my gig. I know I could never do that. But you guys all make it seem so easy and so good. And I love that.
It's a hard, more than ever these days, in the last 5-10 years, you now have to be your own business person. Mm-hmm. You have to be your own artist. You have to be your own writer. You have to be all these different things because, back in the day, there was a lot of money in the business, and people, would just pick somebody out of a crowd and say, "You're really great. I'm going to make you. Don't worry about anything else. Just write songs." Well, now the days of just writing songs, man, I want to get to that point where I can just write songs, and if I want to play, I can play. If I don't want to play, if I don't, but like. Nowadays, you're talking about it is about going out there and figuring out how to make people respond, how to make a set list, all these boring things that people don't want to think about. But now you don't have people doing that for you. So, and it's tough for these 15-year-old kids, these 20-year-old kids that all of a sudden they have to be a businessman and an accountant.
Yep.
But then they also have to be the artist and sing, and work on your craft. So it's not... It's not easy, but that's if it was easy, everybody'd be doing it.
You know what? I say that all the time. It's like it's not for everyone, because if it was for everyone, then every single person would do it.
Everybody thinks they want to do it. Everybody thinks they want to be an actor or some sort of entertainment. I mean, even baseball, football, all these different things. But then they realize what work goes into it, and it has a way of I'm surprised I'm still doing it today. Yeah. But it's all about just working hard and constantly learning and just and soaking up CMA Fest and soaking up all of these artists and learning from people. I mean, you could sit at Riverfront and watch 10 different artists and pick one thing out of each artist and put in your catalog of stuff,
absolutely.
like of your routine or whatever it is you're doing up there, and everything's been done before.
Right.
Nothing's new to anybody. So but I mean. If you're learning what, I don't think Dierks Bentley's the worst person to sit there and be like, he's a great entertainer.
Oh yeah.
And if you can pick one or two things out that work for you and then make your product and stuff. So.
And and that works in every field really, because honestly, when I did direct sales, I was scared to death to get up in front of those people, those ladies that were those home parties, and it was like, okay, I do not have the personality for this. So I'm just going to steal someone else's until I can develop my own.
Right.
And that's what I did. I always told everybody, I just stole this person's. And as soon as I find little things that work for me throughout a show, then I'll build from that. And
that is a smart thing. I mean, you look at Apple, I mean, not to get into business, but like you look at all of these really successful people, and they're taking something that somebody started and just making it better. And they're picking bits and pieces of the things that work, And so I love doing that. I mean, I love sitting there and you may bomb on a song. It's like, well, why'd I bomb on it? I'm not going to do it the next time,
Right.
Or you may play a song and just get this amazing reaction.
Right.
Like, okay, cool. I'm putting that in my arsenal. That just worked.
And have you ever had that moment where you think, okay, I'm just really not sure about this one, and then you go and you deliver it, and it's like this amazing thing, or it's the opposite reaction? Right. Have you ever had that?
100%, and you learn from it, and it's hard to not get down about it sometimes. You're like, man, I had this idea,
right? And
this is going to be the best thing. This is going to be the best. At minute 16, I'm going to pull this out, and it's going to go over great, But I mean, again, that's part of the process is failing and then coming back again. And it was like Denzel said something like, fail 7 times, but try 8 or something, whatever his quote was. And it's like that in any profession. So I love it.
Absolutely. And I think too, when you have those moments, that's what keeps you growing.
100%. I mean, if you're not going up there with a little bit of butterflies, I mean, even if you're playing for 25 years, like, there are things sometimes you want to phone in because, not everybody feels it every day, right? But, you rely on those go-tos, you rely on those things, and then all of a sudden, 15 minutes in the show, you're like, oh yeah, like I'm really fortunate to be here. Like, I'm really glad that I'm here. I'm having a great time, So it's a pretty, it's an amazing feeling to be up in front from somebody who's extremely OCD and tons of anxiety. And I should have been an accountant. I should not have been a musician. I could do spreadsheets all day.
Right.
I show up on time. I'm like, it's a weird scenario, but I think it's fun to learn and okay, if everything went well, it's how do you learn anything? If every single thing you did, was gold, it's like, well, how do you know at that point? And it doesn't make you hungrier. Exactly. Like you want to be hungry. Like people when people are out in the crowd, or if it's 5 people, if it's 5,000, if it's 50,000, it doesn't matter. It's like, you want to be hungry to get those people to like you. And if you're not doing that, then man, I could put your CD in. I'd rather do that. I'd rather watch your video.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like every time you go out there, it's like, how do I make these 5 people, these 5,000, these 100 people, whatever it is, really, make this a show,
Exactly. And that's the thing. And you said it, because when you go to a show, you want to feel it. You don't want to just hear it. You want to feel it. And, otherwise everybody would sit at home, watch from their TV screens, or they would put in a CD, like you said, and so I'm glad you brought that up, because it's so true. And I think so many people don't realize that, you know what I mean?
It's such an emotional and physical reaction that you get when you see bands. I mean, it could be your first kiss. It could be your first concert. It could be the first time in a city. It could be your first date with somebody that you got married to. Like, we all think of certain songs, and when we hear them, it brings us right back to that moment.
Absolutely.
And if you just have somebody up there, and they're phoning it in, you're not remembering that moment.
No, exactly. And I love it, and I just couldn't have said it any better. I think it's great, and I'm so glad that we got to have this type of discussion right now, because these real moments for me, I love them. I cherish them, and I love to discuss the behind the scenes of the music so much, because it's so important. And I think, and I really do, fans, I love you guys, and the diehard fans out there, diehard music fans that follow your artists, you guys know everything about it. It's the music listener. Right? There's a difference between the diehard fan and just the music listener. The music listener doesn't think about what goes into writing a song. They think every Blake Shelton song, every Luke Bryan song is it's their song. And that's not always the case. Other people write these songs, and there's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot that goes into making a performance happen. There's so much that goes into getting a song even out there. So
you write these, you know, you hear these stories all the time where people write these songs and they're just these emotional, like you play them for people and people are emotionally like just reacting to it,
Yes.
physically reacting to it. And you're like, why is nobody cutting the song? Why is
Right.
Blake, or why, you know, even if they hear it or even if whatever, it's like something, and then all of a sudden 5-6 years later, somebody comes out with that song and you're just like, but you would put it behind you.
Right.
It's like, all right, well, on to the next, because you got to keep moving and keep
Yeah.
moving. And, you know, it's such a crazy thing. It's like you get a phone call saying, hey, by the way, you know, Garth's cutting the song. And you're like, oh my
Right.
God. Like, and now all of a sudden it just takes me back to when I first wrote it. And it's just a
Yeah.
whole,
Yeah.
it's really an experience for the songwriter, for the people playing it, for the audience, for the listener. And you need a little of everything.
Absolutely. And for a song that is filled with emotion, it really needs to get into the hands of the right person who can deliver that emotion, because not everybody delivers it the same.
Right.
Some people are really great at one and some people are really great at another. So, you know, I love that. And I love that, you know, with these conversations, fans are getting, you know, a more detailed side of how things really work in the music industry. And I think it's great.
And they're real people. They're going through breakups. They're going
Yes.
through divorces. They're going through marriages. So if you got to catch, you know, Blake right when he falls in love.
Right.
And he hears a love song. He's like, oh my God, this reminds me of Gwen or whatever,
Right.
whoever it is.
Right.
It's like then you know, you find somebody who went through a breakup and you're like, you find them at that right moment, like, I really connect with the song. Where you may have
Right.
played them a year ago, the same song, and they have to really believe it because it's not believable to
Right.
to the listener.
Well, and perfect example, because we're talking about Blake too. The song that he wrote about his brother, he had
Right.
Miranda record it because it was too emotional for him. Now, if you listen to Blake sing that song live versus Miranda's version, you feel
Right.
the heartbreak when Blake sings
Right.
it, and you feel that song is so much stronger coming from him.
Right.
And it made me cry. I saw him perform it live and it brought me to my knees. I was in tears. Like, it was so powerful. And no disrespect to Miranda because she sings beautifully.
Yeah.
But the right song with the right person, the right emotional delivery is just, it's key. You know, because otherwise you have a good song or you have an exquisite, great, phenomenal song. You
and
know?
the singer makes the song, so it could be
Yeah.
a, you know, subjective, a quote unquote average song,
Right.
but the person who really believes it and hears
Yeah.
it and they just emote while they're singing, you're like, oh, okay, this is just
Right.
this is amazing. Like
Right.
a great performance on a
Right.
record is just, you can't beat it.
Absolutely.
You know, so.
Absolutely. Well, what can we look forward to next from you?
Well, you know, I'm playing a lot of shows here in Nashville. I'm fairly new to Nashville. I'm only like 4 or 5 years in, which is pretty new in when it comes to Nashville.
Definitely.
You know, I play with a bunch of different artists, and I write songs and I do my own shows, and I'm trying to get cuts and all that stuff. And it's just, you know, it's just about playing the game, and it's just about getting out there and playing shows like this, playing shows all around town, and you just hope that. You know, you work as hard as you can and things line up. But, you know, it's, I don't know. I mean, every time I, you know, every once in a while you're like, man, you know, nothing's happened in the last, like, you know, month or two. And then you're like, I don't know, should I go back to being an accountant or something? I don't know. Should I go, I don't know, do taxes or I don't know.
Right.
And then something happens. You get a phone call.
Right.
As soon as you like start doubting yourself, you just get this phone call. Hey, do you want to come out on the road with this person?
Absolutely.
Hey, as so-and-so's looking at this song, what do you think? I'm like, and it just revives you again. So, I
Okay.
mean, it has a way of constantly pulling you back in. But I think, you know, I'm writing with I've been really fortunate to write with some really great writers and again, learn from,
Good.
you know, people like Rob Crosby and Leslie Satcher and Phil Barton, all these people who, you know, are part of the reason why hits are hits, you
Yeah.
know. And so if I can get in a room and my first hour in any of those kinds of writes, I'm like, tell me everything.
Right?
I'm just like, what? Tell me, just talk. And people love to talk about themselves, you know, and just let them talk. And it's just like, again, one of those things. It's just like you always learn something.
Yeah.
And so that's what's exciting. And so hopefully, you know, the next time we talk, I'll have a song on the radio and we can talk about
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely. Well, anything you have coming up, let us know. But,
will.
you know, can fans find you on social media?
Yep, alexseier.com and SEIER. You know, Instagram and Seier is pretty much everything. Instagram and
Okay.
Facebook and all that fun
right.
stuff. Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys heard him, so stay tuned to him, to all of his social media. Check him out. And you know what? New stuff's going to be coming at you soon. We don't have a date. That's why you need to stay tuned. Until next time, guys, we'll see you soon.